last time you guys finished up your fight with these goblins, clearing out the last of them, your mysterious crossbow-wielding friend taking out another while Ashni and Lara were kind of going ham together. And then we cannot forget how she chased one down and butchered it in the far hall while you guys were...
She always gets her man.
I guess
always
so.
gets her man.
Yep.
That's right.
She's not to be messed with. And you guys kind of quickly gathered yourselves after this fight. Sephel immediately inquiring into the dark to see whoever this mysterious stranger was to know replies. And then Lara returning from the hall, obviously covered in blood and guts and viscera, to just like bend over Aethera in Indigo's arms and just heals her beyond her wishes. She comes to, and surprisingly with a bit of memories, in which you guys kind of pressed her for what was going on as the howls of a kingly ghost started up from beyond and began trying to force its way through the walls to potentially get her. There was a bit of debate on whether or not she should continue on with you guys. Had some beautiful moments in role play there, and I think some surprisingly deep questions for such a fun and silly game 90% of the time. Some cool uses of magic, some odd crystals that seem rather reactive to some of Sephel's spells, and a were-rat that clambered up, pronounced himself as Grim, and was like, you can get on my boat for all your gold and valuables. A little more talking, and Aethera decided to stay, in which Lara gave her a torch stock, which has the chance to explode. And you guys ran off onto Grim's boat, and you are now paddling away on these dark waters in this large cavern, as you had heard a faint explosion with some green and reddish light. And that's where we find ourselves. However, let's talk about some fun stuff. You guys leveled up.
That's really the only important thing from that.
Yeah, I could have cut like a whole minute out of that. And just
that was useless information.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Who wants to talk about their level up first?
I mean, I'll do it just because I'm nice and quick. So 4th level wizard, not super crazy. I didn't multi-class. I took my 4th level in wizard. Took Warcaster. I didn't do the ASI. I took Warcaster because why wouldn't I? So I can take attacks of opportunity with spells, which is huge, especially after such a close quarters combat. Advantage on concentration checks, which is going to be more and more important. And then I got 2 new spells. I haven't had it up until this point. I finally decided to be an actual wizard, and I took Detect Magic.
Nice.
So that I can actually maybe find some useful things. Find all the useless things.
This is magic, throw it out.
It's bullshit. No, I can find the useful things around us. Hopefully that will help him find new arcana and new spells easier, because he just was a little frustrated how inept he was at that in this place that should have had wonderful things. So I took that, and then I took another 2nd level spell that I think I'm going to keep under wraps right now, but it might come out soon enough.
Fine, so be it. Indigo, what you got, boy?
Absolutely. So Indigo, process to the 4th level of clericdom. Fairly similar to the wizard level. I get an extra spell, but as I am a a cleric, I don't have to just pick a few. I get to pick a new every long rest or so. But I do have an extra spell slot and an additional little use there. And I also decided to take that good Warcaster feat because it is just a ton of fun. You got to keep those buffs strong.
Damn.
It's one of those nice ones that like people think it's cliche when you take it, but why the hell would you not?
Gamers. No, it's
very much look forward to thorn whipping somebody as they attempt to leave my sphere of influence.
Get over here.
You want to use your movement?
Nice.
Maybe not all of it.
No.
Nice.
Right.
Well, I did not take the Warcaster feat. I'll just say that right now.
Yes.
Boo!
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you guys are gonna be fucking grateful. So leveling up Lara, the feat that I chose is actually from Fizban's Treasury of Dragons. I took the Gift of the Chromatic Dragon.
Ooh,
interesting.
Yes.
Very nice.
My feeling here is that the flavor is that Ashni is giving me this gift as a dragon. So the feat is kind of playing in there. And also it gives me some more damage. So,
More damage.
Yeah. And then I got a new spell. So I chose Suggestion. And then I also chose to swap a spell because I wasn't using it. I swapped out Witch Bolt. And I swapped it with Shatter. For a little bit different. Yes. And then I got a new cantrip. So I chose Lightning Lure. Something a little different. Yes. Cool. And I also chose to swap an invocation. So instead of... I had the Agonizing Blast. So instead I chose Armor of Shadows so that I can cast Mage Armor at will.
Very
cool.
smart choice, considering your unarmored self. Some cool stuff. And I like the flavorful feat choice. And I honestly think Ward Caster was really good for the two of you guys. I think it's one, great metagame wise. I think it's two, considering the massive amount of combat you have seen, in like essentially the last 2 days worth of time period, that it would make sense that you like didn't really have time to train yourself physically or mentally, but now you're just more reactive with what you can do. So I think it's all super fitting and great choices all around. It just makes my life harder to try and kill you.
Oh yeah, because you have such a hard time with that.
I do. I do. I'm just gonna have to introduce like some kind of god or something to destroy you. Well, all right. You guys are in this larger rowboat. A super buff were-rat by the name of Grim is rowing, and you guys have just gotten through a combat, lost your friend, have a mimic eating some bones, and a very badly beaten little Bahir. So, what are you guys thinking? Grim's there just pulling these oars in the water. Just kind of staring at you guys. He's kind of gone quiet for a minute.
So do you want my gold now or later?
We're not giving him any gold.
Well, Lara, I said I'd give him all my gold.
He stops rowing, just kind of like rests them in the boat. He goes, "Now why is it you're not giving me your gold? Here I am being such a nice host to you and letting you ride aboard my boat."
We could have rowed this boat. We could have taken this boat from you. Count it a blessing that we're letting you row the boat.
All right. He puts the oars fully into the boat and he goes, "Go ahead. Find your way out of here. I'd like to see you try. You're clearly not from around here."
Fine. And then Lara's going to stand up and take a seat and start rowing.
So he just kind of like folds his leg and he turns to the other two of you and he goes, "Oh, the lass is getting us lost. What about you gents? Squiggly face. I haven't seen one of your kind in a long time."
How long is the journey going to be?
Well, that depends on how long it takes her to come to her senses and give me back the oars.
You know, I admit that I don't know where we're going.
Oh,
You also...
really?
It would also behoove you to get to the destination. So we could all work together here. There will be no giving of all of the gold.
I don't know. This is kind of nice. He leans back, his arms go behind, or his hands go behind his head, and he's just like, I've been rolling for days. I think a break's in order. Oh, my lats are hurting a little bit. I think you should keep going for a wee bit. Just make sure you take that tunnel over there to the left.
Can I get a, like, is he fucking with us? Like, is the tunnel to the left?
Make an insight check.
God. Come on, Lara. It's a 3.
You have no idea if he's being serious or not. And then he just kind of like shakes his head. He's like, no, but seriously, if you want to leave this particular cavern with whatever's back there, take the left one.
Yeah, she will row toward the left.
Good lass.
Well, you didn't answer my question, sir. Do you want my gold now, or would you like it later?
I'll take it when we reach Gracklestug.
Okay.
Good. But don't go throwing it overboard, because that's just a waste for you and for me.
Well,
I might have to kill you for that, or put you into some slavery.
Sir, I just told you I was going to give you all of my gold. Why would I throw it over? That doesn't make any sense.
Good. I'm glad to see you're a smart boy.
He is irritatingly sincere. He will give you the gold.
Good. And now what about you?
I'll give you all the gold I have in my pockets. And she smiles at him.
We'll resume the conversation when we arrive safely wherever we're heading.
Oh, I can't guarantee anybody's safety here aboard this boat.
Then I cannot guarantee my valuables will remain in my pockets.
Alright. That's fine. Kind of gives you a shit-eating grin.
How about
I
this?
twitch a tentacle at him.
I'll give you all of my gold,
And I'll bring out, like, the poker and the spatula from the cook utensils that I got. They're probably old and rusty. It's like,
and I'll make you a great dinner for Lara's part. And Sephel's, probably.
That sounds lovely. What are you cooking up?
It's a TBD. Really, it's a locally foraged meal, so it's really what's in season.
Very well then. I can't wait to taste what the chef comes up with.
What was your name again?
It's grim.
Fitting.
Thank you. I thought so as well. Anyways, but you haven't really answered me. What in the world are you doing down here?
We're super lost. We're on a grand journey of discovery and friendship.
No.
Really?
No.
I didn't think so.
Pretty sure.
We are lost, but not on a grand whatever Indigo said.
It certainly feels that way.
We were imprisoned by the drow.
Oh, now I see. That makes a little bit more sense. So you're on the run then? How'd you get free?
We fell.
Oh, that's not very exciting.
I prefer the term drifted.
Yes, the feather was very useful, Sephel.
I didn't need a feather, I had my staff. It's going to be a longer boat ride if you insist on patronizing me the entire way.
You know, her and I might get along a lot better now. I'm starting to get the sense of who she is. Well then, you're on the run. You have no idea where you are. And now you're here with the infamous Grim aboard his boat.
You mean the boat we just commandeered?
Now, hang on a minute. How do you know this wasn't my boat to begin with?
Oh, so it's a boat you commandeered?
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yes,
I'm fine
see,
with
I
this.
take what I need to use to get the job done, and then well, sometimes I part ways with it.
What is your job exactly?
Monster hunting.
Hmm.
Though sometimes I like to splash in a little bit of treasure seeking. It's it's not a fabulous trade, but sometimes it works out well. Sometimes I do it for myself,
Wow.
sometimes I do it for others. Eh.
And have you
What's
found much treasure?
Maybe.
Lara, treasure's boring. I want to hear about the monsters you fought. What's the coolest thing?
Oh, probably a deep dragon. That one was certainly interesting. I was looking for a sapphire, but I came across that fungally beast.
Fascinating.
You ever run into one of those before?
No. What's it like?
They're big, black, dark creatures. They've got fungus growing from their neck. Big, bald, pale eyes. They'll swallow you whole with an eye of an eye. Yeah. And you have to beware. A horrifying breath. It'll make you go mad.
Wow.
Yes, it was an incredible fight. Went crazy there for a little bit. I think it was about 5 days. I reckon I wandered about in its cavern before I came to. And then I hacked off its skull, dragged it back to Gracklestug, and then sold it for a little bit of gold.
Incredible.
What's your names, by the way?
Well, I'm Indigo Honeydew.
That
Lara.
sounds ridiculous. Lara, that's a normal name.
I go by Sephel.
Now that's also odd considering what you are. I'm surprised it's not some like glub.
It's an interesting subject. You mentioned you had seen one of my kind.
Aye, that I have.
How long and where?
I don't keep track of that kind of thing. A couple of years ago. Where? Couldn't really say. Was a part of the underdark I didn't really venture through much. Just kind of stumbled upon each other, as we have here. That's how a lot of people do it, unless you're, part of a trading caravan, going through one of the more easily travelled passages, or tunnels, whatever you prefer.
Are the drow in Gricklestug?
No. Fuck them. They do not come in there. I switched to Russian there for a second.
Yeah, a little bit.
They don't. I can't get out of it now. I need something with a burr in it.
Wilbur.
No. No, they don't. They stay out of there. They know it's for their own good. Sometimes we trade with them. Well, the Dwagger do, but I don't.
I'd say that's good news for us.
Yes, seeing as you're on the run, I don't think they'll be catching up to you anytime soon.
Is it very far to get from Gracklestug to the surface?
Oof. Now, seeing as I've never been to the surface, I couldn't really answer you that. There's no direct way, as far as I know, from Gracklestug to the surface. But I imagine there's somebody there that'll be able to help you. There's a particular place, actually, that a lot of you might be able to get along in quite well. It's called Gorlborn's Lair. It's the only place that the visitors are actually accepted within Gracklestug, which is another thing we'll have to be discussing. If you're going to be there, you're going to have to lay rather low. You especially, he points to you as well. You're going to need to come up with some sort of disguise. Because I don't know if you know this or not, but the Dwagger, they're the way they are because of your kind.
Run into Similar attitudes from similar types.
I don't think you'll find a single one of us species down here that hasn't been touched by them.
Disguise will not be difficult.
Oh, glad to hear it. You, the hobgoblin, you're not going to stand out too much. And then you, Lara, But just be warned, you will be watched. And if you don't keep a low profile, you will be attacked. And probably put into slavery. Or sold.
Attacked?
It's not happening, Indigo, don't worry. What is Goral's lair?
It's a, pretty much it's a pub. Get a bite to eat, something to drink, stay the night. Merchants, visitors, mercenaries, the whole lot, they tend to stay there. But if you're not a dwarger, you're not really accepted in much else of the city. Sure, you can move about, but you better watch yourself. Someone's always watching you, and you might be taken, snatched, never seen again. Yeah, it's a truly horrifying place there, boy.
Wow. But you live there?
In a way. I usually get my next contract and move about.
Wow.
And you're a tour guide?
No. See, I'm getting paid for this gig. It's the gold you owe me when we get there.
Well, you're a very good tour guide.
Thank you.
Is this the Dark Lake?
It is. I'm surprised you know that. Where'd you learn that there?
Well, we met a few folks when we were in the prison, and one of them, his name was Shushar, and he was of the Kuatoa folk, and he told us to never come here.
Well, he wasn't wrong. I'm surprised, though, that the Kuatoa told you that. I'm surprised he didn't try to rip your throat out with his wee little teeth. No, this is the Dark Lake, and it is a rather wretched place to be. Nobody, well, besides the Dwagger and the Kuatoa, there's not many others that traverse it. See, there's dangers lurking in every part of it. Deep troll, green hags, eels and manta rays. They'll come out of the water and snatch you right up.
Indigo goes and looks over the side of the boat in breathless anticipation.
And he kind of does that spook shove, and he's like, "Whoa, careful! You might get snatched."
Oh wow! I gotta be careful.
That's right. That's why it pays to have an experienced man like myself, a true monster slayer here.
Oh, I'm glad we ran into you.
Grim, how long were you at the wall? Did you see anyone else leave? Maybe a Darrow, old, bearded?
You know, now that you mention it, I think I saw... Well, I might have passed some kind of wandering debris going down one of the tunnels. I thought there was a body upon it, but to be honest with you, I wasn't really looking. See, I'd heard tales of a weird castle that had appeared here in the Underdark some hundreds of years ago, and I decided to investigate.
Did you do much investigating, or did you stay on the outside?
Oh no, by the time I arrived, the lot of you were in deep shit.
And out of the kindness of your own heart, you chose not to investigate further.
Absolutely. Seeing as there was a mad-looking ghost, a couple of other undead creatures, and a lot of you looking so poor and dejected, I just reached into my deep, big, caring heart and figured I'd help these poor people.
So giving.
I know, thank you. I am, I really am. Nicest creature you'll ever meet.
Humble as well.
Yeah, it's the blackmail that really did it for me.
Well,
To get in the boat.
of course. How else was I going to entice you?
When we get to Gracklestug, I think we should pay a visit to our friend Bupido. He's from there, isn't he?
Are you asking him?
I think I'm just asking Indigo and Sephel if they remember
Gotcha.
what Bupito had said.
I think he did know the area around Gracklestug. I don't know if he was from there or not, but it certainly came up. Maybe the twins were from Gracklestug too.
Maybe.
I mean, it begs the question: if they got out, first of all, how? Did they find the way out that we did, and how are they traveling? Like, did they have another means across the Dark Lake?
It sounds like they went down a different tunnel.
Well, if we find them, that's great. Well, except for Bupito. I don't particularly want to see Bupito again.
Oh, Bupito's the only one I want to see.
I would be interested in finding him again as well.
Why? He's very mean.
Nostalgia.
Violence.
That as well.
I crave violence.
Well, it sounds like the lot of you had a few others traveling with you, and they just disappeared on you.
They were acquaintances of convenience.
Mm.
They left when their usefulness had expired.
Oh, so you killed them?
No, but it wouldn't have been long.
Well, all right then. A
Well,
man after my own heart.
I personally am very glad that we still have one trusty traveling companion, my best friend in the world, Stool.
Ashni.
I'm happy I have you too, Indigo.
Oh.
Ashni's like currently chewing on Stool's leg. He doesn't seem to it doesn't even faze him.
Ashni. No, Ashni.
It's
Wow.
okay.
They're teething.
Oh, and now, Mr. Grimm, do you have any bones for me to feed this mimic?
You have a mimic?
Yeah, and I'll show him our little jar friend.
Hungry.
Oh. That's a rather tiny one though. How'd you manage to wrangle it?
I just, now that I'm thinking about it, I just picked him up and he didn't bite my hand off, so we've been best friends ever since. Or, second best friends. You know how it is.
Right.
Doesn't say a lot, but he's very useful.
Yeah, it's more frightening, the fact that it can talk, more than you guys being friends, because I'm sure it'll turn on you eventually.
Oh, I don't think so.
But I suppose it's not necessarily entirely out of the ordinary. There's a mind flayer, a hobgoblin, and a human, with a myconid, a lizard, and the baby mimic. And myself.
Welcome
So
to
it just
the
about fits the
menagerie.
time. Oh, oh, you lot are the menagerie. My kind's rather common down here. Well,
If
let's
we
see.
were to, you know your way around here then. You travel about, you monster hunt, you treasure hunt.
Indeed, I do.
Could you perhaps point us in the direction of either who would tell us how to get to the surface or know the way yourself to a point?
That I definitely don't know on my own. I've never had a need to go to the surface. I'm not really accepted up there, if you know what I mean. People with curses, they're not really about it. However, like I said, you'll have to check out the lair to see if there's anybody there that might know. Otherwise, you're best to try and question around the city, though you'll definitely draw attention to yourselves, so the lair's your best bet to find information like that. Everyone else will probably try to keep you down there, so they can enslave you, and use you, kill you, or sell you. Not always in that order.
You've mentioned enslavement quite a lot. Is that a
Yes.
large trade in Gracklestug?
Well, I mean, there's only so many able bodies down here, so they'll kind of put whoever they can to the forges. But here, you're asking me about using people? Mr. Illithid over here? You eat brains and create thralls.
It's not information I have felt connected to, though many have told me the same.
He
Don't
looks
feel
at, he's like
particularly
very
hungry.
skeptical. Sure. Right then. Lass, if you don't mind, we're going to be taking that slight bend to the right. We're not following the left anymore. And as
Sure.
he draws your attention back to the waters, you guys are in a set of tunnels that this water just seems to be flowing through, very similar to the way it was before you had found the castle. Go ahead.
No, sorry. I was just going to ask him, do we have a few hours left in this journey?
Oh, lass. Unless we run into anything unsavory, we will either have to stop in Sloopadoop to get a little bit of provisions, or if we happen to find a miraculous new tunnel that leads a little bit farther down the way, it'll be probably about a week, maybe 2, to make our way to Gracklestock. We're talking many nautical miles.
Well, it's quite a large
Wow.
lake then.
Oh, indeed it is. See, we're probably what I would consider to the northern side of it, northeastern side of the Dark Lake, and we need to traverse our way all the way down to the southwest. But that's a very abstract way of saying it, because it goes from both cavern, large lake, rivers, all kind of interconnects. But Sloopadoop is our nearest areas that we could stop for provisions, unless you guys want to try some fishing.
I have a query based on what information you just gave. You mentioned cardinal directions and also no measures of time. How would you, as someone who's never seen the surface, know those meanings of measurement?
Well, time, you sleep when you can sleep. The Dwagger don't really ever rest, so it's just kind of when you can. So sleep when you want to sleep. Time is what it is. You're awake when you're awake. As for direction, well, we've had enough people from the surface come up, but we've always had our own way of doing it, such as some of the lichen and the fungus. And he points to the cavern walls, and he's like, this particular kind likes to cling to the eastern side of a wall. Don't know why, couldn't tell you. Not really into the botany. This side tends to grow with more of a speckled type of fungi. That means it's the west. And then he goes, well, if the water's kind of leading upwards, if you can tell that sort of thing, it's to the north. And if it seems to be going a little bit farther down, that's to the south. I know it's very tricky to wrap your poor surface minds around. But if you're in here long enough and you don't die, you'll probably get the gist of it.
I've memorized all of it.
Sure you have.
Twitch a little bit and just look back down.
Yeah, the whole time it's like Indigo's like taking notes in his book about like the lichen and whatnot. He's gonna cop a quick sketch of Grim as well.
Cool. He's still like leisurely laying back and he's like watching you take notes and he's like, see, this is a good lad. He's studious. The rest of you lot could learn something. Except for you, Lara. Keep rowing. You're doing a great job. Proud of you.
If we have a few hours into Sloopadoop,
Sloopadoo. Unless again
Alright.
you want to try another way, you landlubbers.
no, I was just thinking that I would take a rest. Indigo, would you hold this? And she's gonna give you her genie bottle,
Sure. What?
and then she will
What?
zip into it.
What in the You disappear into your genie bottle. Does she do that often?
That is the first time.
Oh my!
I think I did it once before, but I don't know if Sephel was there. I don't remember.
I don't think so. I think you kind of done it in quiet, if I remember right. Stool's just like in the back of the boat, just like losing his mind. He's like, "She turned into smoke! She disappeared! What the hell? Oh my god! God, she's dead!"
No,
and
no,
Grim's just like, "Stop rocking the fucking boat!"
She's not that she's in a bottle. She's currently inside this bottle. I don't know how that's possible.
It is not impossible through the realms of magic. I've never seen it. That was interesting. Sephel is going to pick up take the lamp from Indigo.
And he chucks it into the water.
Just...
So inside the bottle, Lara can hear everything. So she's just listening.
Can I... Well... I don't know. Do I want to... Yeah, can I just, He's gonna look at it and try to, gain an understanding of it. What kind of magic is this? What?
Make an Arcana check.
Alright. I'm gonna roll my...
Search
my new hollow die. Deep magics. Okay.
Search your feelings.
Alright. 15.
15. It's certainly magic.
Amazing.
Yes, it's amazeballs. It's got a little bit of everything except for evocation in it. Most of what you're kind of divining, because I'm just going to assume that you use detect magic in the same sense.
Well, if I didn't get, if I can't figure out from the Arcana check what it is, we have the time in the boat. I was going to do identify as a ritual, which would just be 11 minutes.
You've definitely heard stories of certain items being used as respites for different reasons. Sometimes wizards have used items as a means of teleporting themselves to a interdimensional sanctuary. There's a classical tale of genies being attached to a bottle. So it could be any one of those kind of things.
Okay. But if I'm casting Identify on it, does it tell me that it's like a genie bottle? Or does it just say this is a magical...
Essentially, it just says that it's a magical type of conduit, in a way.
Interesting.
Yeah. Lara, are you doing anything in particular in your bottle while you rest, or no?
I think that one, Lara was getting sick of being told what to do, so she was like, "Fuck this boat," and she went into the bottle.
Okay.
But so she's sitting in there, surrounded by literally what is described as cushions and low tables at a comfortable temperature, and she's just she's gonna relax and take a rest. But I also think that she's attempting to commune with KN, if at all possible.
Sure. Weirdly, you feel that same pervading sense of magic's been warped, and while you feel enough of your connection because the bottle is still working, you don't feel their presence connected to it directly in this moment, and it doesn't seem like... It's almost like the telephone pole is down and you cannot make this call connect, essentially. Which is, again, weird and startling for you because it's been a while. And usually you're kind of like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're like, "Yo, dude, here I am."
She also uses KN as a bit of a guidance kind of thing. So she's really off the rails here.
Yeah.
So she'll just rest.
Okay. Grim takes back to the oars and continues rowing, and he goes, "Well, seeing as the lot of you don't know where we're going, I'll just continue to row for a bit, but I will be needing to trade off with someone."
Oh, I can trade off whenever.
Good lad. Well, get a little bit of shut-eye, make sure you cook something up there, chef, and I'll swap out with someone who's the next, you, chef, who's actually going to be next. And what do you guys want to do? You have time to rest.
I think Indigo would definitely kick back for a while, and then I would like to have him try to fish. I'm not entirely sure what that looks like, for I have nothing that could be considered fishing equipment.
Yes. Well, with what you have, describe to me how you would go about fishing. I'd love to hear this.
All right. So I think I got like in the cooking tools. I have one of those like one of those things that's great for like stabbing like wieners and like roasting them over the fire. One of those. Yep. I don't know what that's called.
Like a long fork.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm like over the edge of the little boat there, and then, like every once in a while I'm like blast like a sacred flame beneath the waves, and like if I can,
that's so good.
Either like roast something or like if I can just scare something towards me, I'll like give it a quick stab with the fork and try to get it into the boat.
Okay. Sure. Well, how am I gonna resolve this?
Was that not what you were expecting, Will?
Sounds like sleight of hand.
Okay, all right. Roll me a d4.
All right. 3.
Okay. For the next 3 hours,
oh my god,
you continue this process. Yeah. Grim just kind of watches, laughing, chuckling to himself every once in a while. Stool beside you is absolutely soaked with water that keeps splashing out from all the sacred flames. Ashni is curled by the genie lamp, or we should just probably be calling it the lamp, as you guys don't technically know. And I don't know, but I imagine Sephel is as far away from the splashing as possible.
I mean, as far as you can get in a rowboat, yes, that would be a correct assumption.
Okay.
Because he's gonna try to do some spell copying.
Okay. Andrew, I'd like you to roll me a d10, please.
Excellent.
Oh no.
This will be great.
Ooh, that's a 1.
Okay, all right. Well, during those 3 hours, you do occasionally see a dark shadow, both small, some medium. Every once in a while, you see something larger. You can't tell if it's a rock or not. But you do see some movement in there, and you stab out, and you eventually do catch what looks like essentially an anglerfish. Yeah. Gross, maw full of teeth, very bony, not a whole lot of meat on it. It seems the bulb that would usually dangle in front of it to attract prey had been singed off by one of your sacred flames until you stabbed it. But you have some form of food, potentially.
All right.
So I'll say you guys have enough rations from that to feed 2 of you for a day.
Do you guys know the reference, Dorf? Dorf Goes Fishing. Have you ever seen that?
No.
I'm going to send some clips later, man. It's so good. This is literally what's happening.
All right. Cool. Yeah, so you catch that stuff. Sephel, what are you doing?
So Sephel is going to take that time, sort of enjoying the relative quiet and now space of one of our companions being in a lamp, and everyone else being preoccupied. He's going to take out the spell of blur, or the scroll of containing the blur spell, and he's going to attempt to copy that into his little
Portfolio?
Yeah, kind of. It's like his binder of
It's Trapper Keeper.
Kind of, yeah, his like archive of spells. This like just mess of arcane writings. So for each level of the spell, the process takes 2 hours. Now, it says it costs 50 gold pieces for each level, but that is representative of the material components you expend as your experiment. So for Blur, which actually,
I will tell you right now, with the paper and the ink that you gathered from the library, depending on what paper you took, you would have enough paper. You do not have enough ink. So you
don't have enough ink.
You got to either find ink, or you have to come up with a way to create ink.
I had more ink.
You did? In your inventory? Your regular inventory?
Did. I had a... thought I had ink. Nope, I had a quill. I do not have ink. Okay.
So, if you can tell me a creative way that you're somehow going to create ink to help inscribe down this spell, I'm going to say for now you can't do it. And it can be, whatever. You just tell me how you think you're going to logically, in this underground river, come up with ink.
Okay. What is the consistency of the water? Is it all super clear? Is there like algae and muck like floating around? Like
that is super hard to tell without there being light.
Okay.
Because remember, you can see in shades of gray, and every once in a while you'll come across a somewhat bioluminescent piece of fungi growing on the cavern wall, but it's all very dark. And a lot of the things are wet, so it's also super reflective.
Sure. So I guess I will... So the first thing I'm going to do, as a cantrip, I'm going to pop up dancing lights. I'm just going to create some light around us. Yeah, so I have that light up, and I'm going to look... So reachable cave walls, floating in the water, or even in the boat. I want to look for like a... If there's any, like, slime, mud, like, something with a, like, watery but thicker consistency that I could potentially... essentially, I'm going to try to mix it into the inkwell that I currently have and see if I can replenish the stock a little bit if I mix it with already existing ink.
Make a perception check.
Okay. Could it... yep. Could I argue investigation?
You know what? Sure. I will allow that.
You are a merciful god.
Sometimes. Fine to you.
Ooh, that's a good fucking check. You know what? I don't... Do I trust your DCs, though? No, you know what? I'm gonna...
just tell me the full number.
Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it. I got a 21.
Okay. As you're looking about, you don't see anything within necessarily grabbing distance that within those areas that you could use. However, as you see, Indigo has now finally pulled up this anglerfish and is trying to prepare it and kind of like cut it apart. It has this blackish blue blood seeping from it. And you think you could possibly add that to the ink mixture to continue scribing down the spell.
I will approach as he's carving it up, and I'll just... Pardon me, and I will hold the inkwell under where his knife is and just let the blood flow into it for a minute or two.
Okay.
Are you doing some science there, Sephel?
Sort of. Like substances.
Okay.
How much is an inkwell worth? Or like a full thing of ink? Do you have that on your equipment? Just because we're common balling here.
Yep, a one... Well, so it depends on the size. A 1 ounce ink bottle is 20 gold pieces.
Okay. I say from that anglerfish, you're able to get 2 of those. So you have 40 gold worth of extra ink, essentially.
Interesting.
So
I'm also dumb. I did have ink. I had For some reason, I had 2 inkwells already. I was just looking in the wrong place.
Okay, so you have like 80 gold. 80
Yeah,
gold pieces
I have
worth.
80 gold worth.
Okay, how much do you need for the spell?
So it's
50.
50 per level, but that is the combined cost of the, like, that's assuming it is the ink and the paper and,
Okay.
all of the materials combined.
Sure. Then I will say that you now have enough to scribe your spell.
Beautiful.
You just have to, obviously spend that amount of time doing that, which will be tricky on a boat. Okay. Now, because Out of the Abyss has so much travel time between itself, I am going to do kind of what I did before. And we're going to kind of go through a day-by-day thing with some wonderful RNG kind of stuff done by you guys to determine if shit happens during this time. Because as you travel, Grimm does tell you that there are quite a few dangers, and it's not just creatures. Who knows what the fuck is going to happen around here? You learn that the Dwagger have for centuries been trying to map out the Dark Lake as a means of faster transport between any potential trade groups that have made civilization here in the Underdark. And have created, even at some points where there was waterfalls disconnecting areas, created boat lifts in different sections, kind of like elevators to transport different people. The Koatoa actually kind of are the greatest explorers of the lake. However, they're extremely fickle. Most people refer to, or think of them as nothing but sentient, crazed fish. And therefore, they are, sometimes they're great trade partners. Sometimes you don't see but anybody that goes out to speak with them. And so it's kind of a thing of like, yeah, we're going to Sloopadoop to resupply, but it's more of a thing of like, hey, we could do trade, and if they say no, it's we leave and figure it out kind of a thing. So he tells you that Gracklestug is like 2 weeks away. Unless anything else comes up. Sloopadoop, however, is only 3 days away. So for your first full day of work, I would like, let's see, Lara, roll me a d20, please.
Okay. 6.
6. Okay. You go through a full day's worth of travel, switching off who's rowing. Some of you, I imagine, in attempts to make the time go by faster, work together. And you believe you've worked for, who knows, a full day's worth, you suspect, worth of rowing with no problems. Day 2. Indigo, go ahead and roll me a d20.
All right.
Can I state that Lara's just going to have a consistent mage armor on?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
Right, cool.
Anything you guys want to do during this time, like the first day, since there was like nothing happened, between your rowings, anything you guys want to throw in there in terms of role play or something you want to work on, just tell me, please.
There is one thing I would like to ask Sephel about.
Go for it.
Hey,
Sephel, I was wondering, and I'm gonna pull out that green drake skin, like drake hide.
I was wondering, I think I remember you mentioning that you have some leatherworking experience. If you have time here and there, do you think you might be able to work this into some armor for me?
I could. I typically do leather work with book bindings, carrying vessels. Armaments are not my particular skill set, but with the right tools, I could attempt to begin. Unfortunately, I don't have tools to work it in that way.
Excuse me, lad, if you don't mind me intruding a little bit into your conversation, it's hard to miss when we're on such a small boat. If you were to hold on to that, there's quite a few smiths in Gracklestug who might be able to help you. I have a little bit of skill in it myself, but not enough to do something here. They might be able to create something for you, little bit better than what we can do out here. Not that I'm doubting your friend, but if you want better use of the material, they'll have the tools, or you could even purchase some there, Sephel.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Grimm. But if I give you all my gold, how will I be able to afford that?
That's very true. You might have to do some work.
It also depends if we consider the skin a valuable. Wouldn't you simply take it for yourself when we arrive?
Yeah, I have plenty of hides. I'm not going to need that one.
Well, thank you for your advice, Mr. Grimmett. Sephel, if we find some tools, maybe you can have a hack at it. But we'll see how it goes.
I could try to help. I need the tools first, but I'm not denying the request.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Sephel. It's very kind of you.
Grim leans over to you, Sephel, and he goes, though perhaps you could steal something off the Koatoa, if they're in the mood for trading. They usually have all bits and bubbles there. Better than trying to buy from the Dwagger. They'll probably try to exchange your valuables or your life. It's kind of one or the other. For an outsider, that is. Alright. Day 2, Indigo. Let's see it.
All right. That's a 12.
12? Okay.
Yeah.
A full second day seems to go by with no problems.
All right.
During this day, Lara's going to spend a lot of time with Ashni, trying to do some animal handling, like working on that bond between the two of them, and like maybe working on some combat maneuvers.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. What is there a specific thing in general, or this specific thing in general? A specific thing that you want to work on with them, or is it just general getting close?
Yeah, I think for now it's just getting close.
Okay. Make an animal handling check.
Here we go. 4.
It's not that great. You definitely seem to think that they understand what you're saying, but they have really no interest in listening
It's
to
the
you.
fucking teenage phase. What do you do?
Pretty much. Just like, okay, mom.
Yeah, whatever.
Wasn't he teething like yesterday?
Okay.
Ashni's a little bit of everything.
Yeah, they're all over the place. Growing. What are you gonna
They
do?
grow up fast.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're 5, sometimes you're 20, sometimes at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do?
You do notice at one point, though, that they actually kind of like slither or slide off the boat and kind of puff themselves up in the water and do manage to kind of swim alongside you for a bit.
Yeah, I did give Ashni a swimming speed.
Yes.
I totally forgot.
And so they are fully enjoying that. And in some points, Indigo, if you wanted to, you could even try to have Ashni help you catch fish.
Boy, would I ever!
So that can be done. All right, are you guys ready to move on to day 3?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sephel, make that roll.
Alrighty.
Also, by the way, this changes every time. Numbers have different things every day. So
Cool.
It's not like a consistent thing.
Just for the sake of saying it, so we were honest, there were probably interruptions in there and, conversation, getting jostled around, him stopping due to frustration or just brain burnout. By this day 3, can we assume that with the material spent, I could finish adding blur to my book if I focus on that pretty heavily?
Yeah, if you, from the sounds of it, other than light conversation, you haven't really done anything else, I imagine you've probably tried to barter your way out of rowing a bit. Yes, I will say that you have.
Beautiful. I will remove the scroll, add it in. Cool. D20 roll.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 7.
Okay. You guys have made your usual kind of switches on and off. but at one point, well, let's see here. Keep with the RNG. While you, Sephel, are rowing, not rolling. I need you to make a perception check.
Okay. Cock die. Okay. 12.
Okay. As you're rowing along, you reach a kind of more wide passage when all of a sudden you hear this large crash in your boat, jars, and then just starts before it stops. You have run aground on stalagmites that were just underneath the surface a bit, and now there is a piece of a stalagmite now sticking out through the hull of the boat.
Figures.
Grim's just like, fuck. Now why weren't you paying attention?
I was looking. I don't have the best eyes.
Clearly. Were your tentacles all up in your face?
No, I was an elderly man 4 days ago.
Right, sure.
Mr. Grimm, what should we do about the hole in the boat?
Well, we're going to have to use something to plug it, but we're also going to have to get in the water and try to lift it off the spike.
Lara's in the water.
Okay. Lara jumps into the water. Grim's like, oh, stop, no. And you way back up and he's like, shh. Try not to cause too much rippling. Don't move about too much. You might attract something we don't want.
You've literally never said this to us before.
Well, I didn't think you'd jump into the fucking water.
Ajni's been in the water for days.
And he's a little thing. I didn't think it'd matter if he got eaten. You can get another pet. Whatever. Thought you valued your own life a little bit more.
She reaches toward him like she wants to toss him in the water, and then she stops.
Lara will kill him later.
You see his big crossbow come up, and he's like, really? Really? Okay.
Can we please... The water is getting around my ankles. Can we please get back to fixing the boat?
Yes,
Yes.
you, stool in the back. You start using your fungi thing. Can you soak up the water or something? Or can you just start throwing that out with a bucket? And Stool's just like, he's like, bucket it is. Just use the bucket. And Stool starts bailing out water. And he goes, you, Indigo, you're with me. Get in the water.
Oh, all right then.
Wait, he's stops. He's half over the boat and he's like, can you swim?
Oh, absolutely.
Alright then. Into the water. And he slowly dunks him down over the edge.
Yeah, I gently enter the water alongside him.
Okay. I need the three of you, unless Sephel, you're getting in there. Are you?
I have no help to offer.
I need you two, with Grim here, to make a group strength check, or technically an athletics check here.
Ooh, sorry. Question.
Yes.
So this is obviously a check to get it off the
Yes.
the rocks that we've run aground.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a strength check because that is just an awkward thing to take it off of? Is there a weight element in here?
There's both the weight of all of your collective gear inside of it, but also because it's now the stalagmite is probably about 6 to 7 inches up through the hull. It does need to be picked up and off.
Okay. I will cast adjust. I will step out. I will cast adjust density on it to make
so
it.
You're gonna get into the water.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm gonna step out. I will suffer with them. I just can't help them. So I will step out and I will cast adjust density to half the weight of the boat. So hopefully it's less cumbersome to lift off.
Okay.
Can I have advantage then?
Yes, you guys are going to have advantage here. However, Lara, I want you to roll me a d20, please. Separate from the strength check.
This is a 15.
Okay. Indigo.
Oh no.
Roll me a d12.
Okie dokie. That's a 5.
Okay, go ahead and roll your strength checks at advantage, please.
I would like to offer myself guidance.
Okay.
That's a 17. And
Nice.
the advantage was very useful because the first number was an at 1.
Oh my gosh.
So was my first number.
Wow.
That could have gone so poorly had Sephel not gotten out of the boat.
Thanks, Sephel. That's a 17 for Indigo.
Okay.
You copied my rules.
Yeah, bro.
With the three of you, with Sephel's help, you all managed to very easily get the boat off the spike, and Grim directs Stool to plug up the boat. He's like, Stool, get some of the Zerk wood that's in my bag and stuff it in there. We'll manage to shore it up here in a minute. And as he's directing that, and Stool goes over and does manage to plug the hole with some of this Zerg wood, you all hear as a long form drops from the ceiling and thuds into the boat, pushing those of you that were supporting it from underneath into the water. And as you all surface up, you see this long worm-like form stick up, and 4 claws extend, and a beak, a very familiar form, a grell, has fallen from the ceiling. And we'll go at it next week.
Ah, jeez.
Woo!
Hey, you, loyal listener, you've made it this far to the post show notes, and that means the absolute world to us. Thank you so much for being here. If you have one more second, we would adore you if you could leave a rating and a review in whatever podcatcher you're currently listening in. The ratings and reviews are astronomical when it comes to growing the show because it's what gets us noticed for new listeners. So if you have just a moment to do that, please do. And we also have a Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram if you want to give us a follow. It's at The Madness Table. And if you've noticed, we are now posting weekly episodes because of supporters like you. So if we haven't said it enough, thank you. And we will see you in just 7 short days for our next episode when...
Madness continues.